All right, y'all, part 3 on the birth of the man-child and the parable of the home delivery, okay? Now, when you have your baby, when you're 80, you don't do so good. When you're in your 20s, you do pretty good. Now, when we rise up above our nation, we can see a lifeline, basically, a nerve ending pattern, veins. And we have a heartland in our nation. And you know the veins by where all the lights are. And as this woman is coming to put reins on this beast and to put out its light and such, when you rise above America, you'll also notice that it's in the shape of a dragon. Florida's its little foot, and Alaska is some wings and those types of things, but it has the resemblance of a dragon. And America is Amerika, the land of the plume serpent. So, as the serpent is coming to divide this nation, and the serpent is going to rise up the belly, the lower chakras, and going to rise through the lungs, the inhale and exhale. Okay? It's going to eventually get to your eyes and ears and the third temple as your left and right temples come crashing down. And the beast of the sea and the beast of the earth, the ear, and that birth is coming to help shake the nations. And as this nation is shook, as this world is shook, the lights come crumbling down. And this is where you have your heart attacks, your Houston, deep in the heart of Texas, the lifeline, the oil, the gas, these types of things coming to take out America. And then we're bringing in a new type of energy. That energy is the frequencies and these things that's on this land. So a new heaven is setting up. An internet. A new internet. The internet is just now giving birth. Okay? Those who've grown up with internet or whatever, it's like us growing up with G.I. Joe and whatever. We pretended this and then we grew up and we made that. That's where these kids are being raised with the internet, so they're coming in and creating this and that. Okay, so this is where it's just now opening up, and we're going to merge with the machine in a matter of speaking, and it's going to be a 50-50 balance and those types of things, like in the future. At first, it's got to get a little haywire in a matter of speaking, and that haywire is for that Bell worship and to wrap shit up, and then for that real to be gathered and those things. And then we're going to go to a new heaven and earth lawn, all right? And then it's going to be cut down and sheared and then rolled up and served in those types. It's a cycle of time. We go in and out, in and out, in and out. And we can see these things. This is why it's an amazing time right now, because the history they show us, the history they tell us, and these types of things show how fast man evolves and how fast man does this, that, and the other. And we came from this, that, and the other in 100 years and whatever else. So, so as the birth of the man-child is coming, the ones with the mom who's 80 years old, who has that 80-year-old lifeline, from the continental divide over, you see this part of the nation lit up, East Coast, Beast Coast. So that 80-year-old mother, as she gives birth, she's not going to have that many children come out per se, or she's not going to make it out. Okay, or they might have to do a C-section to get the baby out. And the C-section ties into your doomsday, and then your doomsday ties into Tony Stark, and Tony Stark ties into New York. That's the Trump, and it also ties into Elon Musk, and he's shown as a nice guy there, but he's actually going to be a bad guy, and that's where you get Starlink or SpaceX Dragon, part of the dragon being cast down in that carnal sense that I've warned you about, that's we've been seeing play out in parables or whatever, or Punjabs. The Punjab is going to turn into the old Bunjab for the old Uranus, for turning stuff upside down. because it's in its little retrograde. And since the Uranus is in its retrograde, that's where you see probably the replay of the old HIV, or it's like you're getting it from the mosquitoes now, or you're getting it from the flea bites or whatever. Because if these things were true, like they say, I mean, we wouldn't even be around at all. So this is where we're given over to the fear. And this is where the beastmen, those who hold the testimony of Jesus Christ, are given over to the fear. The 666, they're seared. We can't do that. Digital currencies, mark of the beast. Whatever, this and that and the other, mark of the beast. All right, they got everything. Demon, blah, blah, blah. It's all programmed. The image given life, TV. Before that was your newspaper and your pictures and your photographs. Your photographs were given life with text and these types of things, where you're reading shit that happened in China or Germany or Florida when you live in California or whatever. You ain't got a fucking clue how to test it. And Jesus is telling you to test all things. So, this is where you go in and you test your pastor, they'll kick you out. If you've been given something by the Holy Spirit, the church calls you possessed or demon or whatever. Y'all need to think of this a little different. When you go under the water and you come up and you see these people going, oh, the demons are leaving. Whatever they say, you can see the demons leaving. That's demons coming in. That's possession, because the pastor, the church, is coming in to possess you. The brand you wear, that's possession. They are possessing you. I got to have that brand. That's where the beer is coming in. They're making your light go dark, putting a transformational figure on there. And you're either part of the Autobots or the Decepticons. And they've come upon Earth. And those Transformers, right? Evil or good. So the armies gathered. The shots are being served for the intoxication. That toxic environment creates the cancer. That cancer is when you create that char cloth. Take that tin can. That tin can is the begotten son, the Biden, the 46. The 46 is the 10. It's also the 24, or the 2024. And he was born in 42. So, that can being loaded up with the char cloth, put the lid on it, put it over the fire, and it comes out, it's ready to spark up in a flame. Just takes one little spark to get it going. And that's where you're going in for your January, your Jan Solo. And you got the Jan hand, merch hand, the Merc Jan, and the Mercy Jan, Amerika. January for the replay on the insurrection and those things, and that would be your abomination of desolation in the holy place and those things, where you see probably Don Rambo, the Dark Dawn, in a matter of speaking, his king, probably Ron DeSatan. At this point, it's Ron DeSatan or Jesse Ventura or one of those types of people, where it's the X seal, and this is where like the seals are breaking open and those types of things in another way. But it's where we see one of these seal characters come in and lead the Trump army to take these people out or whatever kind of thing. Either way, the May Day event for Israel 77 and Trump being 76 in June. or I'm sorry, 79 in June, which is the 76 flip, and then that ties into the 1776 Revelation War. And the red coats are coming. The red coats are here, and that's coding it to get that name and number seared. So when you have a child in your 20s, it's not the same as your 30s or 40s or whatever, because everything in your 30s or 40s is established and such. In your 20s, you may get help from mom or dad more. You may not need any help from mom or dad in your 30s or 40s or whatever. It's a different type of dynamic. Okay, the dynamic, and that mic is that amp that's turned up to the 11 for the spinal tap, for the epidural. And after the sear, you get the vitamin K shot after birth and such, and that vitamin K shot, we're on an overlay of spiritual to carnal, so we're getting a vitamin K shot now for the spiritual birth, per se, and then the vitamin K shot turns into the real K shot when the man-child rises up in the serpent area. All right, so that's where we could see that abomination of desolation, to where that vitamin K shot, the long shot, and those types of things would be discovered for the ass sin nation. Either way, so if y'all been following along and tracking these things or whatever, and you live in that so-called 80 percentile area, you may want to think about relocating, or you at least know that between now and then, when the baby's getting closer and closer and closer, you gotta drive or whatever, leave work and go home, in a matter of speaking. That's when you drive like hell to get to her. Okay? And the driving's going on now for those pings. Some of y'all are getting the pings in the air, because the amp's turned up to 11, and those who've been at the party are adjusted to the music. The other ones just come here like, what's this guy rapping? But I got a little bit of a different rapture for you to hear, of some puns and parables. All right, so be ready, folks, because mama is gonna get swollen.